I recently watched another public safety update by Superintendent David Brown on crime in Chicago. And so, once again, I applaud CPD for what they're doing. They're still making a lot of arrests, still confiscating a lot of illegal guns. It was mentioned that officers cleared 50 homicides, which is like a 19-year record, I believe. So that's really good. No problems there. I did disagree on one major thing. So, as I mentioned in another video, um, Governor Pritzker, is easing mask mandates and vaccine mandates um, February 28th, which is coming up in a few days. And Life was following in those steps. And those restrictions are going to be lifted pretty soon for most places. And so, and that was, I talked about how that depended on where we are with cases, hospitalizations, deaths concerning COVID-19. And so now it's coming out that our officers are still required to get the vaccine. And so now Lightfoot is going to put officers who are refusing to get the vaccine on unpaid status. So they're not going to be getting paid if they're not vaccinated. And so this was called an arbitration. I wasn't familiar with. I think that's sounds like a legal term I'm not familiar with, so I looked it up, and um, it was defined as resolving the process of resolving a dispute. So when this started, this isn't the first time that our officers have been forced to get the vaccine, and that's where this whole conflict. That's why a lot of officers have been leaving the police force because of this vaccine mandate. And so that's that dispute between CPD and Lightfoot and um, everyone else who's forcing them to get the vaccine. So now where I disagree, like I said, my stance on the vaccine mandate especially is that there should be a choice with everybody, not just specific people, with every single person. Um, and if the vaccine mandate is being lifted for the whole state, it just doesn't make sense that it CPD would be excluded from this, like singled out. And so Superintendent Brown, he was answering questions at the end of the public safety press conference, and a reporter asked him why our officers are still being forced to get the vaccine when restrictions are being lifted all over the state. And Superintendent Brown responded that the reason why the restrictions are being lifted is because more people are getting vaccinated, and the majority got vaccinated, so restrictions are being lifted. So, following in that logic, it doesn't make sense for him and Lightfoot and whoever else is imposing these vaccine mandates on our officers to say, hey, you guys have to get vaccinated. Even when he mentioned that 70% of his officers have been vaccinated. So, following on his logic, that high rates of vaccinations in the population eases restrictions. If high rates of vaccinations in the Chicago police force, or 70%, that's over half, have been vaccinated, then that means they also should not be forced to get the vaccine because the majority of them are fully protected from the virus. So that argument doesn't make much sense if he's not applying it to his officers like he is to the rest of the state. So strongly disagree with that. And like I said, a lot of officers have left because of the vaccine mandate. and we don't want any more of our officers leaving and putting them on unpaid status is also really unfair. I think this is just another attack against our police officers. Unfortunately, it's really ridiculous. And but she's life has been attacking Chicago police ever since she got into office. And so yeah, and of course there's the religious exemptions, which was brought up, and the health exemptions. Um, if officers have any like underlying diseases that prevent them from getting the vaccine, and but I just believe that exemption or not, like it just needs to be a personal choice. Especially if you have 70% of your police force vaccinated, then it definitely shouldn't be required, mandated force. So, yeah, I have an issue with that. Um, Also, what I wanted to talk about is the vaccine in general. I didn't make any notes for this video, by the way, because I thought it up in my head after watching the news, the developments about the vaccine mandate. Now our officers are being forced to take it 3 years into the pandemic when most Americans haven't vaccinated. And so that just came up in my mind. So I was making a quick video on this. So I don't have any notes. Um, but yeah, what I did, another thing I wanted to mention was that, how can I say this? I really believe that as far as the vaccine is concerned, I really believe in like a natural, a natural way to defeat the COVID-19 virus. And I believe that because of that, pharmaceutical companies and other health professionals are being driven by profit. That's why they're pushing this vaccine so hard on the public and trying to force people against their will. Um, and they're not. See, here's the thing. America has a lot of health issues in this country, not just physical, but mental health um, it, issues, as I've mentioned before. And the way it's being addressed, there's no talk about natural remedies, like how we can exercise more, how we can stop smoking, drinking, not living in such a sedentary lifestyle. Um, all these things that combat all the major diseases that we have in this country, like heart disease, liver disease, depression, bipolar disorder, all these illnesses. And I'm mostly talking about physical illnesses because I'm talking about the COVID-19 virus, but there's mental health illnesses too. But we're one of the most, if not the most unhealthy country in the world, which, was kind of surprising since we are a developed country. So, I mean, it's not like we don't have the resources to make our country more healthier. Um, and it's not like the citizens themselves can make themselves more healthier. But where I'm trying to go with this is that I just believe, like I said, the pharmaceutical companies that are pushing these pills and these other uh, health companies, corporations, whatever you want to call them, that are pushing the vaccines, and they're not like really talking about natural remedies to fight off COVID-19, like since COVID-19 affects the lungs, it makes sense to maybe stop smoking so you're not like affecting your lungs more, or um, getting more sleep, because that helps build our immune system. When we lack sleep, that makes it easier for viruses like COVID-19 and other illnesses to attack our immune system with without our defenses helping fight off the infection. So sleep plays a huge role in that. And just other things I can't really think of at the top of my head right now. But you won't hear that being talked about. Um, you won't hear a lot of doctors like Fauci, like Dr. Anthony Fauci, talking about those natural remedies, how we ourselves, without the assistance of pills and vaccines, can fight off these infections. And yeah, you won't hear any talk about that in the media or in our culture. And I believe that's part of the reason why this country is really unhealthy. I mean, if we took, I believe it would also help our healthcare system too, which is pretty overwhelmed um, with sick Americans. If we took our own initiative to take care of our own health before it got so worse to the point where we would have to see a doctor and get thousands of dollars in hospital bills and in debt, and spending all this money on medications, which profits these pharmaceutical companies and other like health companies. And this just puts people in more debt because they're not taking care of their physical health. And I hope I'm making sense here. I'm just saying that our society and our country needs to emphasize natural ways to um, fight off disease, fight off these major diseases, instead of pill pushing and and things of that nature. Because a lot of these medications, they have a lot of like strong adverse side effects, and like some of them just make mental and physical illnesses worse. And if you rely too much on them, you could become addicted. And so, those are issues also. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I just believe that there are things we have in our power to live a more healthy lifestyle. And yeah, especially when it comes to COVID-19, there are things we can do. Also, like eating a balanced diet, eating all the food groups, um, protein, vitamins, calcium, carbohydrates, uh, things of that nature. And so yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, you guys know what I'm trying to say. There just needs to be um, more emphasis on natural, healthy living, and then we wouldn't be as sick as we are as a country, and we wouldn't have to rely on all these vaccines and pills. And like I really do believe that that's why these doctors and pharmacists and the media aren't like really talking about these natural ways, like hey, if studies show if you get more sleep, your immune system will build. Studies show if you eat more protein in your diet, if you add more vitamins to your diet, then you'll ward off heart disease and these other diseases. Oh, now something else just came up. Now I'm not sure if people have heard this, but this was mentioned several times in the news that they're now looking at marijuana of all things as a way to potentially treat COVID-19. When I first saw this, I was like, out of all things that you can um, suggest as a way to fight off COVID-19, you're going to suggest marijuana. Now, there's a lot of problems with that, obviously. Marijuana studies have shown to like affect people psychologically, and this disease, this COVID-19 attacks the lungs, and marijuana is a drug. You smoke it, and that also affects your lungs. It doesn't help your lungs. So, and obviously, Illinois legalized marijuana. So now that makes it even more easier for them to push marijuana. And it's just like they were. I don't understand the scientific reasoning behind this ridiculousness. They're saying something like it blocks a protein in COVID-19 that I don't know. It's craziness. I'm not going to even attempt to explain it. But in the news recently, they did mention several times that they're looking at marijuana as a potential treatment to the COVID-19 virus. That's why I'm saying, like, it's just a way they don't care. They don't. People were pushing this marijuana as a new treatment or whatever. They're saying they don't care about people's health. They don't care about the virus. All they care about is making more profit off of selling marijuana. And they're going to city colleges proposing this nonsense. They're going to just now they're going to the news, and I don't know how. I hope this isn't successful. I hope people don't actually start smoking marijuana to fight off COVID-19. Um, don't fall for that. Don't use your brain. Don't don't be foolish and start doing that. It's obviously a scam. That's what I'm saying. Like there's there's profit to be made off of like pushing pills, pushing marijuana, pushing everything that doesn't have to do with bettering your physical health in natural ways that doesn't involve spending money on all these different medications and other harmful. Not saying medications are harmful. I mean, not all of them are, but like over reliance on them could be. And marijuana is definitely harmful. So spending money on all these things that could make your physical conditions worse instead of, um, like I said, doing your own research into your own health and seeing how you can better your illness through naturally. So that's all I'm saying. And yeah, can't think of any more else to say on that topic. I just thought that was important to get out and say. And thanks for watching.